What is going on, guys? Here's the first lift out of the boat. For Young's boatyard getting pulled out. Everything is going great. We had to get actually towed over because the engine quit on us. It overheated. That is a later episode, later discussion and dilemma. There was only a little bit of barnacles on the boat at the keel and then a few other little clusters that were on it, but nothing severe, which the previous owner hadn't pulled it out in quite a while, and so we were worried about that, but nothing severe. Here's a picture of the boat on the stands, which is great. Everything looked in order as far as the bottom went. And then we started working on the top of the boat. Here's a picture of the tow rail being pulled off, which was a lot of work and regretful work that we did. And then the headsail tracks were pulled off, and the spinnaker track, that's the small track. Here's a picture of the cockpit combing and the winches all pulled out and more of the tow rail being cut off. And then I pulled out the cleats that were on the back. One was ripped out, and then the other one I took out so we could replace and rebed all those. And then obviously more of the cockpit combing and the other side winches were pulled out as well. And then we painted, faired, and sealed everything up. And then after that we started the inside work, which was the bulkheads. They were all rotten, and so we went in one by one and pulled them, replaced them with 3/4 inch plywood. And we just went one at a time and would pull one out, grind, and then fiberglass it back in. They each had about 3/16 of a gap between the hull and the actual bulkhead, so they had space to kind of expand and contract. And then they were glassed with 3 layers of glass, 10 to 11 ounce, depending on what was at hand. The old bulkheads were 1/2 inch, but we upgraded to 3/4 of an inch. Just for extra stability, and we just went one bulkhead at a time. All of the major upper bulkheads were compromised. They were all rotten. Here's the port side bulkheads, all done. Chain plates were pulled and inspected one at a time and then rebolted in as they were being pulled from the bulkheads. Some of the floors were rotten as well, so we had to pull them and replace them. We just plied those as well. Here's another picture. You can see the floors replaced and then the upper bulkhead for the head and the view berth. And then the bulkheads were all done, and this is what it looked like before painting. Everything on the inside was done as far as the bulkheads went. And yeah, that was one of the biggest projects we've had.